All right, let's talk about the Ben Franklin effect. We're going to deconstruct it, move way beyond the old historical story, and treat it for what it really is, a seriously powerful strategic tool. It's a core play in any modern consultant's playbook for building real influence.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll nail down the core concept. Then we'll pop the hood and see what makes it tick, the psychological engine behind it. After that, it's all about action with the playbook, what traps to avoid, and then we'll wrap it up with the bigger picture, the whole philosophy of influence.
Okay, first step, the Ben Franklin effect. Let's get right to the heart of what this is and where it came from. Now get this, because it's a little backwards from what you'd expect. The effect is this. When someone does you a favor, it actually makes them like you more. It's wild, right? Their brain has to justify the action, so it literally concludes, hey, I must like this person. And that subtle shift, that's what we can leverage to build influence. So you've got two key figures here. The whole thing is named after an old story about Benjamin Franklin, sure, but the real science, the why it works, that comes from psychologist Leon Festinger. His theory of cognitive dissonance is what gives this thing its power. All right, section 2. Let's talk about that engine, cognitive dissonance. This is the magic behind the curtain. We're going to explore the psychological machinery that makes this strategy work so well. It all comes down to this resolution loop. It's a simple 3-step dance. Step 1, they do you a favor. Step 2, their brain feels a little conflict, a little dissonance. It asks, wait, why did I just do that? And then boom, step 3, to solve that puzzle, the brain rewrites the belief. It aligns everything by deciding, oh, I get it. I did it because I like them. So there are 3 key psychological levers you're pulling here. First is strategic humility. When you ask for help, you're boosting their ego, showing you value their expertise. Second is the mind trigger. It's that classic IKEA effect, right? By investing even a little bit of time, they get a little psychological stake in your success. And third, it's that powerful drive for self-justification, where the brain works hard to make sure our actions and feelings are in perfect sync. Okay, section 3. This is the good stuff, the playbook. This is how you go from being just another person selling something to being seen as a real partner. And we're going to focus on how to do it the right way, ethically and effectively. You know, the biggest difference between amateurs and experts is who controls the spotlight. Amateurs, they keep it pointed right at themselves, all about their features, their benefits. Experts, they flip that spotlight around. They point it directly at the client by asking for their advice, their opinion. That simple act builds a bridge and completely changes the game. This matrix right here, this is your tactical guide. Just look at how different types of asks get you different results. The expert ask for a quick critique, that gives them high-status validation. A simple personal ask, like for a book recommendation, that's all about building rapport. The feedback ask makes them justify their choice, which locks in their identity as a fan. And the co-creation ask, that's how you trigger the endowment effect, where they feel a sense of ownership. So if you're going to do this, you have to do it right. 4 simple steps. Number 1, ask small. Keep it super easy for them to say yes. 2, make it relevant to them. It has to fit their expertise. 3, say thank you and really mean it. And 4, this is crucial, use that moment as an opening to shut up and actively listen. Now, this next part is just as critical. Let's talk about the traps, the things you absolutely should not do. Getting this wrong can blow up in your face and wreck your credibility. You have to watch out for these. First, the burden trap, asking for way too much, which just creates resentment. Then there's fake sincerity. People can smell that a mile away, and it just feels gross. Also, don't ask too soon. If you haven't built any trust, it just feels weird and unprofessional. And finally, the big one, the lipstick on a pig error. Remember, this is about relationships, not a magic trick to fix a bad product. Okay, let's bring it all home. Section 5, the philosophy of influence. This is where we zoom out and see how this tactic fits into a world-class strategy with a real example and some core principles. So here's what this looks like in the wild. A software company, instead of some cold pitch, asked a prospect for a tiny favor. Hey, can you give us 5 minutes of your expert feedback on this one screenshot? That little act makes the prospect feel valued, invested, and what happens? They become 3 times more likely to actually buy later on. That's real impact. And this really gets to the heart of it. Stephen Covey said it perfectly. Trust is the foundation. That's why this effect is so powerful. When you use it ethically, you're not manipulating someone. You're just accelerating the process of building genuine trust. And Brian Tracy just nails the business reason why. People buy from people they feel they know, from friends, not strangers. Your whole job is to get across that bridge from stranger to friend. And asking for a small, respectful favor is one of the fastest ways to do it. And we'll end with this powerful idea from Rory Sutherland. The Ben Franklin effect is all about creating psychological value. You're building positive feelings, a sense of partnership, a feeling of being respected. And that perceived value, the kind you create in someone's mind, well, that's often the most valuable asset you can possibly build.